Welcome to the importance and power of reading. I'm Michelle, the computer lady, your host. During some awful dark times in America, Black people were denied the ability to read, to learn how to read, to write, or to even own books. And that has hampered our communities up until this day. Now we're going to have important conversations about the importance and power of reading.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Importance and Power of Reading. Today I have a phenomenal woman guest. She is absolutely amazing. Got to meet her. Her name is Gigi Sabbat. Gigi, would you just tell everybody about you and all the wonderful things you do?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. First and foremost, it's such an honor to be here today. And so I'm a motivational keynote speaker and the CEO and founder of Life Service Center of America. And I love
All
serving
right.
others.
Now, in what you do, can you expound on it just a little bit if you don't mind?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. So I am a coach as well. And so I love meeting people where they are and I love helping others achieve their goals.
That is absolutely amazing. And here recently, we just had a international conference as you talked with our survivors and let us share our stories on breast cancer. That was absolutely epic, and I really love you for all the things that you pour into this community.
Thank you. And yes, ma'am. And when we talk about the global breast cancer event that we just did, I truly appreciate each and every one of you for coming forward and not just sharing your story, but also educating others about breast cancer. And so it's so important. Awareness is one thing, but then it's so important to educate others about the topic at hand as well. And that's exactly what each and every one of you did. And I just appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you to all of our speakers and our sponsors as well, and for everyone for attending.
Wow, it was phenomenal for me. Now, let's get into a few of these questions. First thing I wanted to ask you, did you like reading as a child? If so, what age did you start reading?
Great question. So I love reading my entire life. Essentially, my parents, when I was a kid, they loved to just hear me read. They said, just read any book. And so my mom, she would actually buy certain books that had series, and she would have me read them as a kid to my parents. I would read them, and it was a series of books, and I would read them, and they would have me read them out loud to them, and they would even select the ones with the higher level terminology, so to speak. And because they didn't want me to remain with where my grade level was, they wanted me to expand a bit, regardless of my age, which I think was a wise decision that my parents did.
Oh, I concur with that. So, what age did you start reading, Gigi?
As young as you can possibly think, as a very young child. My earliest recollection may be 5 years old. But honestly, I love reading in general. Even as an adult, I continue to read. I just finished up a book the other day. One of the things about me, though, when I read a book, I prefer to finish it in one sitting if I can, so to speak, because I really want to grasp what the author is saying and their message to us as the reader, because every author is truly unique and every author has the biggest takeaway that they want the readers to obtain. And so when I sit with the book, I really love to digest it.
That is amazing. So, what's one of your favorite books that you're reading right now, or some books that you'd like to recommend to our audience?
Yes, great question. So I just finished up a leadership book here. It's off to my shoulder here on the bookshelf. But yes, it's a leadership book and it's absolutely phenomenal. And it reminds us of the importance of leadership. And so you're never too old to learn. You're never too old to read a book on leadership. Never, right? And so here's what I tell folks all the time. When you continue to learn, you continue to grow. And so once you stop learning, then you essentially are telling your mind, okay, that's it. This is it. There's no room for growth here. No, there's always room for growth. And I encourage you and I challenge you to expand on anything that you may be learning right now. Continue to do so.
That is absolutely correct. Now, When we talk about reading and reading books, do you remember your favorite childhood book? Because I know you read series of books. Did you have a favorite?
A favorite childhood book. Well, everyone loves the green eggs and ham, right? So yes, but I didn't have. I don't recall exactly a favorite. No, I can't tell you one.
Well, see, for me, it was Madeline, 12 Little Girls in Two Straight Lines. And that's because I went to Catholic school. Then I got into the Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys series. So some of the things that I like, but that one because my godmommy gave it to me. And it was one of my favorite books that I grew up with. Now, you're not married yet and you don't have any children yet, right?
That is correct. However, when I do have children, I plan to have three. I'm the third child for my parents.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, I want to ask you, as a professional, how has reading helped you on your journey? How has reading helped you in your profession and in your life?
Absolutely. And so again, when you continue to learn, you continue to grow. And not just that, it's so important to continue to read and build on that knowledge. And so as you're continuing to serve others, and so remaining stagnant and saying, okay, this is it, I've learned enough, and just tuning everything else out is I don't encourage that. I encourage individuals to continue to read and to continue to grow.
So, how has reading helped you on your journey? What are some of the specific things, especially you having your own business, does reading help you with?
Absolutely. And so when we talk about, for example, the leadership book that I'm reading, it focuses on the importance of a team. And one of the things I love about it is that, especially for our business owners out there, if you're listening, understanding that teamwork does matter and having your team truly matters. And it's okay if you're just starting out a business. Yes, you can overcome those obstacles as every business owner faces in the beginning, but not just that, you continue to face those challenges and you overcome them, and you continue to keep the faith, and you continue to serve others. And I encourage you to remember why you started, but not just that. Again, what has helped me as far as just continuing to read and continuing to really expand on some of the things that I've learned with the books that I've read, it's assisted me as the type of leader that how I show up in my business and how I serve others. So yes, I encourage others to read.
That is awesome. And I'm glad that reading is helping you build your leadership, it's helping you build your business. Now, let's talk about the children. Do you happen to mentor or work with any children right now?
No, but majority of my clients have children. Yes, so we have some
Right, right.
co-authors.
Well, and then having like me, I have nieces and nephews and sisters and brothers have kids, and then I got the village kids and I got the grandkids. But what I'd like to talk about when we talk about reading and being on this journey, because people need to see us, they need to see people that look like us. And so when we talk to our children about reading, I want you to think about how parents can help their children read better and read more. Do you have any suggestions?
Absolutely. I encourage individuals, similar to how my parents did, whether it's a book series or even just a book, gift that to your child and encourage them to read and remind them of the importance of reading and not shutting everything out and saying, okay, this is it. I've learned enough. No, a lot of times individuals say, okay, well, I obtained a degree and that's it. No, you continue to learn and you continue to grow. Regardless if you have the degree or not, you continue to grow. I know so many successful entrepreneurs who didn't go to college and they continue to read and they continue to grow their successful business.
Because that's really all about mindset when you're reading and you're growing. And so for the kids out there, when you see people in business, know that they have to read. They have to read because they have contracts. They have to read so they can excel in their business. They have to read because they might even have inventory. And that's one of the things when we talk about on this reading journey. If you're looking at people like Gigi, who's very successful in her career, she got that because her parents helped her and molded her on this reading journey. And that's one of the reasons I had to have her here because she's a powerful and dynamic woman. And on that, Gigi, we got to take 2 and 2 for a quick commercial. We'll be back. Everybody stay there. We're here with Gigi Sabbat on the importance and power of reading.
Hi, I'm Michelle, the Computer Lady, author and children's book publisher of the Mommy Readers Collection series of books. Well, we know how important it is for us to read, but we also know how important our public hospitals are. We're here in Atlanta. My public hospital is Grady. They saved my life. And I would like to give back, and I need your help to do so. I've created a new fundraiser called Building Towards Our Future. And what's going to happen is we're going to make sure, you and I together, that Grady keeps on serving the marginalized, the poor, and the indigent in the Atlanta metro area. All right, stay tuned for more announcements. I'm going to be telling you how real soon. Thank you for joining me in this fight to make sure that we can live with Grady.
Since 1877, Jackson State University has been training students for a life of service and leadership to impact our global society. Ranked among the best HBCUs in the country, Jackson State University offers 47 undergraduate, 37 master's, 1 specialist, and 13 doctoral degree programs. Whether you're interested in the arts, education, public health, the sciences, or business, we're here to take you from ready to JSU ready. Visit jsums.edu and apply today.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Importance and Power of Reading. I have a phenomenal woman, Gigi Sabbat. She has her own business, and we've been talking about how we can get our children to read, how we can, as a community, work towards elevating it through the power and the positivity that reading is. Gigi, welcome back.
Thank you. It's such an honor.
So now let's get into some other things. When we talk about children reading, and I engage a lot of young men, what I find is, because boys like to be outside, they like to run and play, they're a little bit rambunctious, they have a time quieting their minds. Do you have any suggestions for mothers of boys and how to help men quiet their minds as they go down this reading journey so they can read better and comprehend?
Such a great question. So a lot of the young gentlemen that I know, essentially, they love to look up to an older individual as a coach, and particularly a gentleman, someone that they can look up to, or even if they don't have a father figure, from what I've heard from those folks that I've spoken with, they love to look up to someone. They love to have that particular individual in their lives. And also, too, as you're continuing to read, whether you're a young gentleman and you're in your youth, and you're looking to grow, I encourage you to read as many books as you can. There was an individual on my podcast, Thurbin, and he talks about how he read about 50 books. And when he said that, I said, that is absolutely amazing. And so that's the thing. Oftentimes individuals look at the number. I encourage you not to look at the number, but again, continue to read and continuing to build that knowledge. And I remember as children in the school system, they would have us read about maybe 1 to 5 books. Maybe they would give you an award. Maybe they would say, okay, we'd give you some type of form to get a pizza or something of that nature. But one of the things I loved about the school system is how they challenge individuals to really read and expand on not just reading one book. And that's one of the things that I love.
I did too. And I remember the Pizza Hut reading competition that we would have, and it got a lot of people. And then Scholastic Books had a wonderful way that they come in schools and you got to pick and buy. And so that's what I used to take my allowance money with. I get my dollar or my couple of dollars back then because I'm a 60s baby. And we go and we pool our money together. Then we would trade our books among our friends. Now, we're talking about reading among our children. What do you think the state of literacy is among our children, adolescents, and adults? And if you don't think we're faring as well as we need to, how can we elevate our communities and get to where we need to be right now?
I truly believe that everything requires time. So if an individual spends enough time actually reading through the book, I truly believe that if you are facing a challenge with a particular subject, I believe if you sit down with that subject for a few hours and you really read the book, I believe that you will expand your knowledge on that particular subject. I believe in you.
And I believe that as well. And the other thing, I think with boys especially, we have to give them books that they gravitate towards, books on things that they like. When we talk about how we're not reading or some of the things that are encapsulating why our scores are low, well, we know that COVID had an effect on the reading scores. But we also know that most parents, especially here, both work outside the house. A lot of times when they come home and they're a little bit tired, they forget to do those little exercises. One of those can be sitting down with a child, reading to the child, but also having that child read back to you. It's very, very important. And modeling, because even if you just pick up a book and read a couple of pages and they see you picking up a book, a lot of times they'll come back and then they're like, oh, what are you reading? And they might even want to swap with you. That's what happened with a sister friend of mine. That's one of the things when I met Gigi, she was telling me how she's always picking up leadership books, how she's always picking up books that are elevating her. And I just think that is phenomenal. And she's a very amazing woman for doing these things. Now, Gigi, let me ask you, what guidance would you give the parents of both boys and girls to help their children read more and better now? Because let's talk more about comprehension.
Absolutely. I would encourage those individuals to really grow and expand on what they're reading, and how you can do that too is not just reading the subjects that you're reading in school, but also maybe it's the weekend and you take your children out to Barnes and Noble, or you take them to a particular location that offers books, and you spend some time in the bookstore with your children, and you encourage them to buy one book. I remember my mother, and I remember going to the store with my mother as a young child, and my mother would say, I want you to pick a book and pick a book in the bookstore, and that's the book that you're going to read. And when I chose the book, she didn't just let me choose the book and that was it. No, she actually had to read the book, the front and the back, and see what it was about and determine, okay, is this fit for my child? Once she was able to determine if it was fit, then I would read it. And then we didn't stop there. We would continue to do that. And I would continue to read. And so again, that's why I encourage others to continue to read. It's not one and done. And it's similar to when you're reading the Bible. It's not one and done. And you continue to build a relationship with him.
Well, and when we talk about not just reading one book, and you talked about the Bible, because the Bible is a really good book for people that, for some folks, it's their favorite book. I've had a couple of folks on here when they think about their grandmother used to read the Bible to them and got them closer to God, but also taught them how to read. When we talk about the fact that, especially in this United States, when there was slavery, the Bible was the only accessible book to a lot of folks. And while they listened, they would have, when they were able to have service, they would have places where the pastor was teaching them how to read by reading the Bible. So when you bring up that service and bring you being close to God and bringing up the Bible, I love that. And I love that as a resource because of the stories that are there. You get a child growing up in the way that serves and pleases God, also while you teach them how to read. So, Gigi, that was a very good and very salient point. Now, Gigi, can you tell everybody how to reach you if they would like to do business with you? Can you tell them some of the things you coach in business, please?
Great question. So they can find me on Life Service Center of America, LLC.com, or on LinkedIn as well. And so on the website, you can fill out the contact us form. We'd be more than happy to assist you. And again, I assist folks with achieving their goals, whatever that goal may be. I don't like to assume. I love to listen first and foremost and see what people need assistance with to determine if I can even assist them. And once we're able to determine that, then I do so. If not, I refer them to someone who can. And so some of the goals, maybe it's a book that you're looking to write, maybe it's a podcast. And this is just the majority of goals that folks reach out to us for. So this is maybe it's a book, podcast, maybe it's achieving passing an exam of some sort. We've helped folks out with that as well. Maybe it's just you just need that extra encouragement. Maybe you just need extra accountability. However, we do not like to step over anyone's toes. So I really love to listen in. If you're already working with a coach, we don't like to step over anyone's toes. So again, just meeting people where they are.
Awesome. Now, you talked about having a podcast. Can you tell everybody about your podcast, where they can find it, and what I'm going to do, everybody? You're gonna look down in the comment section, especially if you're viewing this on YouTube, and I'm going to have her link to her podcast. That way you can go and check it out. All right, Gigi, tell us what your podcast is.
Yes, great question. So essentially, it's titled Walk With Me. So I have the book here as well. So Walk With Me and God First, as you can see here. And so when we talk about Walk With Me, it's all about helping others walk with purpose. And so again, and meeting people where they are. So important.
I love it. I love it. All right, we're going to take a commercial break. We're going to be right back with this phenomenal woman, author, coach, and speaker, the importance and power of reading.
Black life, Black inspirational stories, education, luxury, health features. Welcome to the new Black television, Pick TV network, where being in the black is luxury, it's accountability, and it's seeing what you look like in the new face of television. Pick TV network, come join us.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to this segment on the importance and power of reading. I have a phenomenal guest, Miss Gigi Sabbat. I got to meet her, and she is doing some awesome things in our community and to help people. As a life coach, she's an author. She has 2 books. This interview is blessing my soul. Now, let's talk a little bit about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. Because a lot of people talk about AI and how they're afraid of AI, but with STEM, STEM is now and it's the future. How can we get our kids to gravitate more to STEM and learn STEM on this reading journey and the importance of knowing that we use STEM every day?
Great question. So as humans, we have to have the ability to really adjust to what's going on in our society, similar to when what was happening with COVID. Everyone had to shift to the online platform and really assist their children with learning from the online platform. So when we talk about STEM and we talk about AI and all of these things that are happening in our world right now as we speak, and all these amazing things, I see it as amazing happening with technology, because this is the future. This is it. There is no wondering, okay, what if this is removed from our society or our platforms? No, this is happening. And so we have to encourage that it's occurring, and we have to be able to adjust and work with what is at hand as far as the technology that God has provided us with. And so God is the creator of all things. And so when we begin to shift our mindset and how we're looking at AI and all these amazing changes that are happening with technology, then we're able to understand what's happening in our world. And it's absolutely amazing what's happening right now.
I love it. I love it because I teach STEM, but I've been in the STEM fields for almost 30 years. But if we think about it, everything we do has some STEM in it. If you think about how, even if you're going to make a snack, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, Somebody had to create the machine to bake the bread, one to slice the bread, part of science, part of technology. If you think about washing your clothes, I remember when I had a washboard and then we got a washing machine and it had the little wringer feature. Someone had to have the innovation to build it. Again, back into technology and the sciences, because even to build it, everything has measurements, they have steps. Even if we're talking about a computer program, say you're using a modern washer and dryer, everything has what we call now RTOS systems. That means they come out of the box and they know exactly how they're programmed and exactly how they are working. That's why gearing our kids towards STEM is really, really important. Now, Gigi, did you own a dictionary as a child?
Yes, and I have a few dictionaries here as we speak. I'm looking at them on my bookshelves.
And do you think it's important for every child to have a dictionary or to receive a dictionary?
Yes, ma'am, I do. And for me, I have not just the dictionary in English, but I also have it in French and many other languages as well. And so I do speak Haitian Creole and I speak French as well, and obviously English. And so when we talk about having the dictionary, it's very important. And I don't mean it's important every time that you need to understand the term or something of that nature. No, I encourage you to expand. Even as a kid, I remember just sitting there and I remember just reading through the dictionary. Yes, I read through the dictionary. Just read it.
Oh, absolutely. And I used to copy down words and then I found favorite words that I liked. I and all of my children got a dictionary. My grandchildren give them dictionaries. Even as an instructor, it's one of the things I tell folks, have a dictionary and then practice finding a new word every day. The more you expand your vocabulary, the easier it is on this reading journey as well. Now, I know you're not a mom yet, but you're planning on having three. How
Yeah.
important will it be for you to have resources in your home for your children to read, like their own books, or taking them to a library?
Absolutely. I will take my children to the library as often as I can, and I will encourage them to read as many books as they can as well, similar to how my parents did with me. Yes, I will pass on the dictionaries that we have here to my children as well as the books. And like I said, it's so important to continue to read even as an adult, even in college, regardless of the subjects that I was reading for the classes that I was currently in. I remember as early as the first term of college, I was in the library oftentimes, and I was reading other books as well and just continuing to read. And so I encourage others, but understanding that you have to have the balance. And so you don't want to mix the two. If you can't handle the two, then don't do it. But I encourage you to find that balance where you can continue to read and you can continue to expand on what you're currently reading.
Absolutely. Now, I want you to tell everybody about your books again and where they can find them. Also, we're going to make sure that we have a link so you know where you can find these two awesome books.
Absolutely. Great question. So when we talk about God first, and so God first is all about raising awareness about the importance of having God first in our lives. And so it's not just in our personal lives, but also in our business, in all areas of our lives, our relationships. And I'll get to the relationships in another moment here. But as far as everything that God wants to be, and He wants to be there for all areas of your life, and He seeks to meet you where you are. Oftentimes individuals believe that they need to be perfect. I talk about this in the God First book. They believe that they need to be perfect, or they believe that everything has to be absolutely phenomenal or perfect. We don't live in a perfect world, and they believe that that is what they need in order to go before Him. And so if you're listening to this message today, and that may be you, I encourage you to again circle back and really rethink that, because He loves you as you are. You're the child of God, and He loves you as you are, and He wants to meet you where you are. You can go to Him at any time. And so often folks say, well, I can't make it to church on Sundays, and that's the only time I can go before Him. No, He wants to hear from you every day. You're the child of God. And so when we talk about walk with me is all about helping others understand the importance of never giving up, and also walking with purpose. So when we talk about never giving up, whatever challenge you may have gone through in this lifetime, remember that you're not the challenges that you've been through. You're not your circumstance. You're not your environment. You're none of those things. You're bigger than that. And I believe in you. And I believe that whatever you're going through, that you will get through it. And remember that to shift your mindset from a negative mindset to a positive mindset. And remember that you are truly a warrior. You are a warrior. Yes, you, if you're listening to this message today, and you don't have to stay stuck in this, you don't have to be in the stuck. It's your mindset. If you're thinking that you're going to stay stuck, then that's it. You're going to remain stuck. If you shift your mindset and you say, okay, I'm going to give this to God, and I understand that it's not for me. It just give my battles to him, and I'm going to let go and let him. Watch your life transform. I encourage you to really, really circle back to anything that may be really bothering you right now, maybe dwelling on your shoulders. Maybe you're on the brink of or on the edge and you're ready to just give up on life, period. I encourage you to hold on. And you know what you're holding on to? You're holding on to faith. Hold on to it and keep going no matter what. And remember that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And I was just talking to an individual earlier today, and we were talking about how someone just got how somebody was paralyzed, and I said I believe that, and we were talking, and I said to that individual, I believe that there is more than what meets the eye right now, because I've seen God work miracles. I've seen it with my own eyes. So you can't tell me different. You can't tell me that he can't work miracles, because I believe that he can.
I know it to be true. I'm a 7-year breast cancer survivor. I can't tell you, I learned how to walk again. So I know the power of miracles, and I know the power of God. Now, where can they find these books at?
Yes, ma'am. So they can find them on all major book platforms. They can find it on Amazon or anything of that nature. And also too, and as you read, and again, any book that you read, really sit down and really take the time to digest. It's not just grabbing a book just to read a book and just going through it. No, really, really grasp what the author is saying here with every single word. And even with the author itself, really understand the author in general. And so, and I think it's so important. Like I said, when I'm reading these books, and the book that I just read, and really looking at it from the angle of the author, and sometimes folks say, well, don't I need to agree with the author before I can really go through this book? No, you will have books that you read in this lifetime, and you may not agree with what the person is saying, but do you shut it out? No, I encourage you to really listen in when you read it and understand where are they coming from with what they're stating, because why did they state what they're stating in the first place? It's for a reason. No one just goes around, they're not going to just write it for any reason. No, it's for a reason, but why? And it's often right in front of you. It's often right in front of you. So I encourage you to keep reading and don't give up. And I know some individuals, they may struggle with reading per se. And so if that's you, and I remember an individual who said that they may have had a stutter, and that individual said they continued to read, and they continued to read out loud, and that's what helped them with their stutter. And I also remember some individuals saying that they could not read per se. They would have issues with the words and things of that nature. And so I encourage you to take your time. However, how much that may be, take your time. There's no rush. Take your time. And I believe in you. I believe if there's a book that you have in mind and God has put in front of you to read, I believe if you may have a challenge with reading that book, I believe that you can get through it. I believe that you can read it. And I declare it today. Amen.
Amen. Gigi, you have been phenomenal. Thank you so much for blessing us with this interview. Good luck with your books. They are phenomenal. Make sure you go get them. I'm going to have them listed. Look on the YouTube channel in the comments. Everybody, go follow Gigi. She has her podcast, and your podcast is
Walk with Me. And it's an inspirational podcast.
Walk with Me on YouTube, Gigi Sabbat. Gigi, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you. It's been an honor, Michelle. God bless.
God bless. That is one of the reasons why we have to uphold each other. That's why we have to uplift each other. This reading journey for all of us, but especially our children, is so important. And to center God in your life and God in their life. And Gigi brought that home for us today. I want to take this time to thank you for joining me on this segment of the importance and power of reading. See you next week.
You know what's going on in our society, book banning, and over 38 million children don't have books in their homes. Join me for some exciting segments as we talk about the importance and power of reading with my guest on the PIC TV network, channel 1000.